Howdy, here's Bonnie with a quick ad. I started podcast recording. What I missed from the beginning was a platform that allowed me to record my interviews with my guests in a way that gives me complete overview over the entire situation, over the audio quality, video quality, internet connection. And exactly after 3 years of podcasting, I finally found my platform to record on. It's called Zencastr. It's so easy to record a podcast on Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high quality podcast right away. Record studio quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layer backups ensure you always have your recordings in highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. All you have to do is go to zencastr.com/pricing, that's spelled zencastr.com/pricing, and use my code BonniesLegends, that's BonniesLegends, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr pay plan. I want you to have the same easy experience as I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Howdy, here's Bonnie, and welcome to another episode of Season 4. Today I am featuring Ella from Rain or Shine, and this episode was an absolute blast listening back. It was definitely the most chaotic episode I've ever done. I don't know where my brain was on that day, and so we just giggled a lot and just moved along with the questions that came back into my mind after I had lost them. And yes, I really love this conversation. I loved re-listening to this, and what I found most exciting is that Ella launched Systems Recess around the time we did this interview. And if you follow me on Instagram, and Ella, if you're listening to this, you know I'm sending you a voice message every single week telling you how excited I am to join Systems Recess again. It's definitely, I think, my most anticipated meeting I have of the week. And it's just System Recess, it's just it's almost like a magical space to reflect on one specific area and then just play around with ideas and what I can improve, what I do good in it. It's an absolute blast. I don't want to take away. You should definitely join us. It's Saturdays. For me, it's 7 p.m. Central European time. I don't know what that is for your time zone, but just click the link in the show notes. And yeah, I found it really interesting that she launched that during the time. So by the time I actually interviewed her, I had not had my weekly meeting with Ella yet, which makes me sad to think about that because I really enjoy it this much. So anyway, check out Systems Recess. In this conversation, we talk a lot about change and community and connecting the dots. And yeah, if you feel a bit lost or lost in your dreams and your plans, I definitely think this episode is going to get you giggling, because just based on how much we giggle, but also just giving you a bit of hope. Like, don't take it this seriously. That it doesn't have to be this. Things don't have to be taken so seriously, and at the end of the day, it's just really on how easy we can pursue our dreams and goals if we actually listen to ourselves. So have fun listening. Subscribe to this podcast if you enjoyed this, and leave a review. You can find Ella under every single link that I've linked below in the show notes. And yeah, support the podcast and have fun listening to this. And now I have to keep speaking because I have been redoing this intro. And anyway, check out the show notes. Have fun listening to this episode. Join Saturdays, Ella and me at System Recess. Have fun. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have Ella here on the podcast.
Hello.
Nice. It reminds me, I don't know your last name.
It's okay.
Ella for me, okay?
Yeah.
Do you share your last name publicly, or is it like?
Sometimes, I mean, I'm not that difficult to find.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't usually I feel like most people don't usually use it.
Yeah.
But I'm like Miranda, like.
Yeah, it's nice. Okay. Yeah, but your Instagram. I love your Instagram handle.
Thank you.
Do you want to shout it out to everyone listening?
Yeah, so I am Rain or Shine System Design. And yeah, that is both what I do and my company name. So you can find me pretty much everywhere under Rain or Shine. Except for TikTok. TikTok still has a personal username that I should at some point probably change, because I mostly only talk about system design at this point, but okay.
Well, TikTok is a different kind of story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to have the same username all over the place, and except of Twitter, because they preserved Bonnie Orbison without any punctuation in between there for something. They were like, we preserve this username for someone who's famous, and I was like, maybe I am this person, right? You don't know this.
Yeah.
Waiting for me. You knew that I would be okay. Well, all right. No, Twitter is believing in me.
Right.
Yeah. So I've screwed that idea, and I have different usernames all over the places, and
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So we here. You're my legend today.
Okay.
Do you want to start with the Bonnie's Legends check?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, I mean, we kind of answered already the first question, but what's your name?
I'm Ella Miranda.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
When's your birthday?
It is May 6th. So I'm a Taurus baby.
Nice. I'm Taurus rising.
Oh, nice.
But the girl was thinking, I was like, is it Moon, Venus? What is it? Oh, it's rising. Okay.
That's okay.
I'm Taurus rising.
Nice. Yeah, I have a Taurus sun, Taurus moon, and Taurus Venus. So.
Wow, that is intense.
Yeah, very much an earth sign.
Yeah. Wow. No, I don't have doubles in my.
Nice.
How are you calling it? Star.
Yeah, your star chart, I think.
Yeah, star chart, right? Yeah. The chart, the famous chart of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my hit charts.
Yeah.
I don't have anything double, so I sometimes feel that because I'm all over the place.
Yeah. That's fair.
Um, yeah. So, who is your legend?
Ooh.
You're mine today.
Yes. um, I mean, I think when it comes to system design, it is Ashley Pendergraft, um,
Mm-hmm.
of
I've
Systems
heard
Over
of it.
Stress. Um, she works specifically with Airtable. But I just really love how fun and accessible she makes um, all of the work that she does. So
Nice,
definitely one of my legends for sure.
nice. And in general, like in your life?
Mm. Um, I mean, I think probably my legend would have to be my best friend. Um, just in general, like she I don't necessarily have permission to like shout her out like this, but um
So you just mentioned her. It's just your best friend.
yeah, like she just
Best
like
friend, if you're listening to this, you're a legend.
you know who you are. No.
Yeah.
um yeah, but I just like I think she's been through a lot of really tough things in life and managed to always stay positive about things and like turn those challenges into strengths. Um, and so she's been a really big inspiration for me, and also like um, very much our relationship is based on like all of the shit we've been through together. Like it's very much one of those like ride or die. Like we've both been in situations where we're like, oh my god, like I don't know how we're gonna get through this.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
having that support and that um, positive perspective and someone to be like, um, we can joke about slashing somebody's tires and like letting out all that anger and like,
Yeah.
we'll end up getting through it. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. I love those friendships.
Hmm.
I did not have any of these yet, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it if you're listening to this.
Yes.
I'm now blind dating best friends. Let's
I
go.
love it.
We compare all our drama and then we continue.
Hmm.
Maybe
Always
that's
down for
actually a
those
good
voice
idea.
messages.
Maybe we should integrate that just at a blind date, drama dump,
Yes.
and then decide if you want to go on or not.
I mean, I feel like you learn a lot,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You learn like how a person is coping with things, but also you learn
hmm.
how maybe similar you are in specific or like just what you've gone through. I realized
Hmm.
this now, especially if like starting dating. I cannot date someone who has a very opposite family dimension because it's just like I don't get your family and you don't get my family dimension, so the
Hmm.
at least when we're not deciding to run away and like forget our families, this is not
Right.
gonna work. So yeah, I've learned
Mhm.
that pretty hardcore in the beginning. I was like, no, we actually no. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Um, so that's about that. I actually remember I didn't ask you about your pronouns. Do you want to share them?
Oh yes, my
Yeah.
pronouns are she, her, hers. Yeah.
Just so everyone pronounce
Mhm.
getting the deets right.
I love it.
Um, all right. The fourth question of the Jag is actually musically. Can you believe
Hmm.
this?
Okay.
um, what's a song that just takes your breath away by how good it is every time you listen to it?
Hmm. I would have to say "Live Love" by Future Sunsets. They are not a band anymore.
Oh,
He is now making music under his own name, David Michael Frank. Um,
okay.
but this song so I've been friends with David for a really long time.
Oh.
Um, he's been through several bands, and um,
This is not
so
something new to the listeners.
so I've been there from like the very beginning, but this song like specifically just has gotten me through a lot of really hard times, um, and just like in general, like every time I listen to it, it's the reminder that I need to hear. So,
Yeah, love that. Love when that happens. No,
hmm
really love that. So shout out to David. Dave, was it David?
yeah, David Michael Frank.
Shout out. um, yeah, I love music.
hmm
um, yeah, it is healing, right? It is healing to like, I mean,
hmm
to listen to songs. Um, so healing.
Yeah, it really like captures so many emotions, and like it's such a good way to like express,
Yeah,
how you're feeling.
yeah, and it can change too. Like I've had
Mhm,
songs which reminded me of that specific situation, and then it's like changed because of time
mhm,
or like something else, and the music was playing, and it's like I love how I said that once to a friend, and he
mhm.
was like asking me if I'm high because of how deep this was. Because I said music or like a song, it's just like a blank wall, and you can
Mhm,
like always put a new kind of color or like how do you say like wallpaper on it, and you can
mhm,
like always change it and also scratch something off, and it
mhm.
was just like, are you high? And I was like, no, this is just how music makes me feel. I'm high by
Right?
music.
Get into those
So
deep emotions with it, like.
yeah, and here the interior designer, like the interior
Mhm.
design student is coming out of me. It's like a song is like a blank wall. You can always put a different wallpaper over it. um,
I love
well,
it.
thank you. um, all right. The last question of the check is: what advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
Ooh. Um, I think it gets better, and as long as you focus on yourself and taking care of yourself, um, you'll find the ways to make it easy and solve your problems. Um, everything works itself out when you take the time to rest.
Yeah, yeah, so true. Especially, it's been 2 years since I've been 16. Since I've been 16.
Nice.
Nice. I've actually never became an adult. I just stayed 16. um, no, it's 2 years ago. I was 16, and
hmm
yeah, as a 16-year-old self, you're like very lost, and you're listening to so many people you maybe shouldn't. So get that
hmm
definitely. So if
Yeah.
anyone is out there 16, listen to yourself. I know it sounds, I mean, I got that told, and you probably too, you got that told too, like when you were 16,
hmm
like listen to yourself, and then you're like you were like listening to 30 other voices who told
Yeah.
you I don't know what to
Like I don't
do.
even know who I am, so like how am I
Yeah,
supposed to listen to myself? But like,
yeah, yeah, and that's my advice to any
Mhm.
16-year-old self out there. You will probably never figure out who you are. So
Right.
just give up. Just live your life. Just do what you
Yeah.
want. And
hmm
yeah, we don't need a really defined version of ourselves. Like it's just
Um, just that like everybody, I like genuinely believe that everybody does know what they want. It's
yeah.
just that like we don't often let ourselves like really like not only do we not let ourselves explore it, but like sometimes we don't even like let ourselves like think about it, you know?
Mm, yeah.
Because sometimes what we want feels so scary or so like unavailable to us that it's just like you can't even go there because it would be more painful than just ignoring it.
Mm,
Um, but like I think if you really took the time to like sit down and listen, you do know what you want. And we just live in a world that is like so fast paced and so focused on like this specific version of success, that we don't ever give ourselves that time. So yeah, like
That's a beautiful transition into today's topic.
yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah, so before I dive into it,
Mhm,
we we're here to talk about creativity,
mhm,
collaboration,
mhm.
communities, thinking out of the box. There we go. And that's kind of
Yes.
right. What you also like just said. Try to think out of the box. Like, don't
Mhm.
try to think about something you like scared of thinking.
Yeah.
That's a sentence for like I think only overthinkers can understand.
Yeah.
um Maybe for anyone listening who's maybe not coming from you or like
Mhm,
I guess even if they come from your like Instagram story or anything.
mhm,
Do you want to introduce yourself a bit? Tell me about your journey so far. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe what you've done. Maybe what have you
mhm.
achieved. Maybe also like explain a bit what system design is for anyone who doesn't know it. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I very much come from a like jack of all trades kind of background. um, I started going to college for graphic design because I started out actually on YouTube. Um,
Mm.
I had in high school, I was like really into music, really into bands. And so I had a lot of friends who were like starting YouTubes and were like, um, trying to like start up channels. And so
Yeah.
I ended up getting into graphic design entirely like unintentionally, like not even knowing that that was a thing. I just was like making things for people, making their banners, making their graphics, like um helping them like make the things that they did look professional and look like um kind of like give off those vibes that they were trying to give off, right? And so I started like looking into like college like majors and stuff as I graduated high school and was like, oh, like this is actually a thing. Like this is a real job. I could do this. So that's what I ended up studying. And it's still something that I do. But as I started working with people both in college and out of college, like started working with like actual clients, I mostly was working with small businesses and entrepreneurs and people who were like just starting out.
Mhm.
And I realized that there are so many people who are really good at what they do. But entrepreneurship comes with so many more rules than that.
Yeah.
Like it's not just what you do, it's also like you have to be able to market what you do and you have to be able to like talk about what you do and you have to be able to like come up with like branding and design, and like there's just like literally so many roles that are involved in business that like most people have like whole teams to do, and as a small business, even if you do have like direct support, there's just like still so many more hats that you are wearing.
Mm.
Um, and I was very familiar with this because um, I've always worn a lot of hats in my life. And so I just like naturally, I guess, am very talented at like asking myself questions and trying to like do things in the most efficient way possible so that I can do all of the things. Because I never really like people were always like, "Oh yes, like you need to like really focus in on this one thing." And I was just like, "No,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't think that's the answer. I think I can do all of the things, and I think if you tell me no, I'm going to tell you watch me." So, um I realized that as I was working with these people, yes, absolutely, like I'm fantastic at branding and I can help people with that. Um, but more often, the questions that people were asking me were about like, how do I make marketing easier?
Mhm.
How do I make all of these things that I'm not really good at? you know, like you know so much about these things that you're able to like tell me, you know, like ways that you've done it before and like how like I think a lot of times people aren't used to hearing um that they have expertise in things,
Yeah.
and that they actually know what things work well for them, right?
Mm.
um in doing the thing that you love, right? There's probably a reason why you're doing that thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've worked out systems um to make that doing that thing easier, to like continue doing that thing in your life, because you love it. And I think you most people just haven't put that focus into the other things because it's not something that they love, which absolutely makes sense. And when you're going to start a business doing what you love, you have to be able to like handle all of the things as well. And so um my goal with Rain or Shine is really just to help people understand um what a system is, understand systems thinking, like so basically just what are the questions you need to ask yourself to get to those repeatable actions that are going to help you make this easier.
Yeah.
um like that's really, and honestly all systems thinking and systems design is you're just going to iterate on the things that you're doing until you can get to something that is easy.
Yeah.
It's not about like the tools or the automation or whatever, it's really just like the processes that you're using um to make things easier for you, and those
Yeah.
tools and automations and all of those other things are just there to support you um on that journey.
Nice.
And I am here as a resource also to help support you along that journey.
Yay. And we need you. We need you. It's like, yeah, it's like when someone tells me, like, you have a goal and then just, break it up like in small steps until
Hmm.
it's like, very baby steps.
Hmm.
And I'm always like, and I see the process, I like fill 3 pages maybe. And I'm like,
Hmm.
is this really? And then it's like, this is not even the most baby step I can do. Like, it
Hmm.
always, it's just, it takes a lot of time, right, to like go for that on your
Hmm.
own. And so I really
Absolutely.
appreciate that there are people out in the world like you,
Hmm.
who, first of all, tell us we have to break it up even
Yeah.
more. Eventually, when you then start doing it, it's like you realize there are so many more steps to this, and it's just
Hmm.
then it gets frustrating because you're like, this is not my to-do list item. I cannot track this off because it's like I haven't
Right.
done this. I had to do this and this first.
Right.
Yeah, no. So appreciating your work.
Thank you.
Love how you came up with it. It's like it's like fascinating how you
Hmm.
like came from graphic design to that. But I guess, yeah, I mean, in graphic design you have to know your steps too, right?
Yeah.
And I've also stumped like how did you say stumbled oh,
Hmm.
he stumbled into graphic design, and I did too. Like,
Hmm.
I can do the graphics on my podcast, or like I can edit the podcast episode because I've
Hmm.
had once a crush, and then I had like a celebrity crush, and then I wanted to watch like these fan edits.
Hmm.
But there were none of this celebrity, and so I was a child, and I was like, let's do this. And so
Oh
that's
yeah.
why I have the skills I have nowadays, because I've
I
had a
love it.
celebrity crush, and I was obsessed with edits. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's that moment when you notice, like, oh, this is actually people get paid to do this. It's like, wow, okay, I can do this for a job. Wow, yeah.
I know, it's
So
so exciting. It's like just like opens so many opportunities for you.
yeah, it's not something you do like on a Saturday night at like 2 a.m. like fixating over this one this
Right.
one this one mask is always slipping away. It's like, Oh, this is actually a job. All right, nice. Yeah, no, but yeah, I mean, graphic design is so essential, like,
Mhm.
to know as a business owner. Like, I think I formatted all of my books,
Mhm.
and I would not have been able to understand the platforms if I would not have known. Like, I worked then with InDesign with
Mhm.
Adobe, and so if I would not have worked already with like Photoshop and After Effects, I would not have been able to,
Right.
do what's the word?
Like
to
translate those
um
skills.
to format my book. There you go.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's like really important. Like self-taught people have so much like motivation and direction for things, you know?
Yes.
Um, like I think it's kind of like a special skill. Like I don't see everybody always like going out and being like, they get really frustrated with it and instead of being like, "Oh, I'm going to figure out how to do this myself." They like outsource it, which is fine, right?
Yeah.
If you know you don't have the time, the energy, whatever, like I'm all for outsourcing things. Um because I do believe that collaboration can be important. Um However, like I also think it's really interesting to see like what to like try a little bit, to like see those
Yeah.
things, to try new things like that for me is something that's really important. Like I'm always trying to learn new things and try new
Yeah.
things and looking up tutorials on YouTube is like a nightly pastime like
Yeah.
um and I think that's part of like why I am so good at what I do is because I am constantly asking questions. So
Yes. Yeah. True. Oh, I love this conversation with you. we're like we're like 30 minutes into it, but love it. um yeah. So that's a that's a deep question, but like how would you describe where you are at in your journey right now? Like
mm,
if you would give it a title or anything?
hmm um
How would you describe it? Like how would you describe today in your journey?
okay. um
To make it easy. There we go.
yeah.
Break it down today.
um
This hour, this minute.
right. What am I right now?
Yes.
um yeah, I mean, I think where I am is continuously on that process of making it easy.
Mhm.
I think I don't know. I joke about this with my therapist all the time because I'm constantly like, look, like I have come so far, and yet I genuinely believe that like it will never end. Like there is
Yeah.
always going to be something new to learn, and sometimes that's horrifying, and sometimes that's really exciting. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, like I think looking back at where I was from even like that question of like, what would you tell your 16-year-old self? Like,
Mm.
um, I absolutely like really believed in that hustle, like grind culture. Like I was working really, really hard, but I didn't understand myself and I didn't understand um, how the things I was doing were impacting my life and the results that I was seeing. I didn't see that like whole picture. I was just focused on like forcing my way through those like individual tasks.
Yeah.
And so I was successful, but I think I could have done a lot more had I had, that guidance and had I understood
Mhm.
like what worked for me and had I understood like how all of the things I was doing like played together. Um, that is a really big aspect of systems thinking is understanding the interconnectedness of everything that you do and how all actions really like you have to understand things from a non-linear point of view. A lot of times we are taught to uh you know break things down into steps, right? To look at that one thing and then another thing and then another thing, and you don't often realize how each one of those tasks affects all of the different moving parts. and
Mm.
um and it absolutely is really a challenge to start thinking about things in that way, because it's such an uncomfortable thing. Like we don't often look at many things in that way, and so um, I think it can be kind of a stretch sometimes in the beginning, but um, I think really like learning that aspect of interconnectedness and learning how all of the things interconnect and how to really focus on the things that make the most impact, and how to understand myself enough to know what I needed to then focus on those things has really brought me to a point where like I can say that the majority of the things that I do are easy for myself. Like I absolutely still have challenges and there are still things that I need to work on. And I think, like I said, I really believe that like it's always going to be like that, and that's exciting to me for the most part. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I'm at a point where I understand how to make things easy for myself, even if I am not always taking those actions. And so,
Yeah.
um,
At least
that's
it's
really like,
self-aware.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it has really like helped me achieve so much and gotten me to like
Mm.
such a point of self-compassion and understanding that um I genuinely believe it is like the most important thing that I can teach people. So,
Yeah. Nice. Nice, I love that. Yeah. It's this, it's like when you write a novel and you make everything up, obviously. um, and um and you notice, I think everybody can relate to that. It's just like when you write a novel, like a single sentence can change the entire story in your head, and suddenly it's this moment where it's this funny TikTok trend every writer's kind of doing. It's like this when the characters go live their own life, like on the
right,
pages, and you like wake up and you're like, wait, what did they say? What?
right.
um so and I mean, it's interesting because I know this in a novel, right? Like I know how much impact a single, like every single sentence has in this book. But
Mhm,
it's interesting because I have to remind myself constantly that that's life too, right? Like
mhm.
I have the power to do this in my life too. I don't only have the power to do this on made up people and on
Right,
a page, but I'm one of those too in a way. And so
right. Yeah,
that's
you're
like
constantly
such.
making yourself up, and that's what's fun.
Yeah, 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 exactly. Um yeah, it's like this thought you have like once every month. It's like this, what if I would just change my name and run away? Like,
Right.
right? Like let's start somewhere completely. Like let's start fresh.
Yeah.
um wow. Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like a lot of times people say that, um, but not a lot of times people have the courage to do so. And because making changes is hard.
Yeah,
It's scary
yeah,
and it's difficult.
yeah,
And it changes things.
yeah.
um, but like, so my like original name that is on my birth certificate is Elizabeth, right? And I have been
Ooh.
through like so many different nicknames, and it's
Oh
really
yeah.
funny now to like go back and see like at the time that I changed my name how that like
Mm,
allowed me to change so many other things in my
yeah.
life. And I think like it's really easy to like stay in the same place, to like accept the same things that you're given,
Mm,
um but all it takes is little things to jumpstart a really big change. Whether that's like changing your name or moving to a new place or like um, literally just like going to a different place to like write for the day or you know I think again like coming back to that interconnectedness, sometimes all it takes is little change to
Mm-hmm.
push big
Things,
big
big
yeah
dreams. Like, yeah. Big stones.
yeah
No, but yeah,
climb those mountains.
yeah, same too. No, yeah, when and the thing is, when you decide to change, there's
Mhm.
like, here's the same thing again. The the beautiful part is actually the journey. Like the
Mhm.
change, you won't notice when the change happened. You will notice when it happens, like when it actually is in
Right.
progress, and
Mhm.
it's like a bomb is
Mhm.
ticking, and you have to cut off the right the
Right.
right cable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I get that change is scary, but it's also,
Mhm.
exciting. And
Yeah. I keep getting the message recently that like when you decide to make a change or you decide that you want something, the universe is going to give you opportunities to continue to say yes to it, right? And a lot of times we look at it as like old things coming up and we're like, oh, like um everybody or like everything that I've been taught wants me to say no to
mhm,
this choice that I have made. And so having these opportunities to continue saying yes is just me affirming that like this is what I want.
yeah,
Um because you know, I think in general like life and the universe can be kind. Even when it seems like it is being mean, like when it seems like you are just constantly being told no, or like opportunities are
mhm,
like not the way you thought they would be, I think life gives us what we want. And sometimes subconsciously, what we want is to stay the same. And so that is why we continuously get those things. Um, so it can absolutely be a challenge, but I like to think of it as like I am continuing to say yes to this and I am choosing it even if it is hard or if it doesn't look like the way I want it to. That is absolutely a strength to be able to be like yes, like um I've made this choice and I'm going to trust myself to make it happen, you know?
exactly. Self-trust is so important, and some
Mhm.
like, I'm writing this every morning when I wake up. I have a journal which is
Mhm.
just filled with pages of like, I have trust in myself. I believe in
Mhm.
myself that I can do this.
Yep.
Yep. I am worthy because I am, and like, all these narratives I'm
Mhm.
like writing down there, and I'm like, let's manifest it. It's gonna happen. If
Yes.
I write it 5 times a day, it's gonna happen.
Yep.
Yeah. So, oh wow, I just love how we kind of I
Yeah.
love that we had a completely different target and we just went down that road. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
um
But I think also like the conversation that we are having right now is proof of the power of collaboration, right? Like,
yeah, yeah, I was just like yeah, like,
you
especially
know.
because during those moments, when we grow, when we change, we need to have people who believe in us too.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's one of the reasons we've met through Lexi from the
Yeah.
Pretty Decent Cafe. Shout out. Hi, Lexi. Hopefully you're listening to this.
Right.
and and like, I found her at a point where I needed her, and I think you too. Like, something, yeah, like something sparked. And for me, it was a TikTok video actually about Notion. So
Oh
it
yeah.
was just this. I just got Notion. I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do with this. And she
Hmm.
just posted those cutesy aesthetic videos, and I was like, I wanna be that too. Like, and so
Yes.
yeah, and so that's how I found Lexi. Maybe
Mhm.
do you wanna say how you found her?
Yeah.
Shutting it
That's
off.
actually really funny to hear because um I feel like one of the reasons why I ended up deciding to join was also because Lexi uses Notion, which is so funny. We were in a bunch of similar groups. I believe it was through Linnea that we ended up meeting. And I had like heard a bunch about her work and like the study that she was starting. And I just like hadn't like I'd heard of it like other people talking about it or whatever, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like that sounds cool, but like I hadn't really looked into it. And then she posted that like she was starting a new semester, and it was like just after I had discovered Notion, and I had like done like a retreat with Linnea, and we were like I was like doing a bunch of like life planning. It was the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And I like saw like the classes that she was offering, and I was like, oh my God, like, this is so interesting. Like, and it's always really interesting to me because like I studied design and marketing in school.
Yeah.
And yet the way that Lexi teaches things is just so much more accessible than anything that I learned. Like the fact that she like specifically provides space for you to like actually do the work together was really, really appealing to me. And so yeah, like I think I came because of like Notion and like the appeal of learning, and I ended up staying because of the community and the collaboration that happened in those spaces.
Yeah, true. Nice pivot here. Yeah, and connecting. I mean, I actually wrote it down on my script, right? Pivoting towards connecting and collaborating as a creative solo entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How do you find the question, what is your definition of collaboration and connection? I mean, we kind of. It is collaboration and connection. Do you want to answer it or?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I don't know about like a definition, but I think one of the reasons why it is like so important to me is because it's been such a big part of my journey. Um, is that like connecting with other people and like um, helping people solve problems and um, getting to a point of realizing that I could actually ask for help was a really big thing in my own personal journey. And so I think especially when it comes to like entrepreneurship and like business, we're often sold this idea that we need to go at it by ourselves. It's literally in that name, like solopreneur, like it is all you, juggling all of the balls, wearing all of the hats. And I just think that's so silly. Like, I think as humans, like, we need connection and collaboration and community. And I think, when we are able to find people who understand what we're going through and are able to like offer us those resources and help, and even just like sitting there with you as you're folding your laundry or studying, whatever it is that you need to do, that is such an important part of being able to grow and being able to um, get to a point of like making changes and focusing on like those big impactful things. Is like, just like you said, you need that support in that community as we continue to.
True. Oh, such a nice answer. Yeah, I mean, you said that the narrative, I can do this on my own. I mean, we talked about this in the beginning. We're both self-taught, like graphic designers in a way. So, and we talked about how, there are benefits to it. Like, obviously, you can I don't know, format your own book by yourself, or create
Mhm.
marketing, like social media content for yourself. And but
Mhm.
still at the same time, it is toxic, and it definitely can like lead to burnout when you think you have to do all of the tasks. um
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's like when I tell people I'm publishing my own books, they're like, wow, so you, and then I'm like counting all of the things, and they're like, so you do really all of the things? And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm
Right.
always burned out after the book is out. Like, that's why I
Right.
disappear for a month. Like, the book is out and I should be promoting it, but I'm just gone because I cannot do it. And so do you have a theory, or have you read something about this, where this narrative is coming from? I mean, obviously we kind of like, I think we all have kind
Mm.
of screaming answer in our head, but like, yeah.
I mean, I definitely think the like idea of capitalism like constantly
Yeah.
needing to produce is
Yeah.
a big one there. I think there's also like some cultural pressures as well. Like, um, I am Latina, and like we like I was raised by very hardworking people. And like that was a value that was taught to me, like that you work very
Mm,
hard, and you are like, I guess I learned like very on early in life that like there are going to be a lot of challenges, but like as long as you can have fun, you'll make
yeah.
it through. Um, and so I think like anything, there's absolutely good aspects to like wanting to learn and wanting to do things for yourself. Um, and I think it can absolutely encourage a lot of growth in
Mhm.
people. But if you are, I think it comes back to that like understanding yourself and understanding what you need,
Yeah.
right? Like, um, there are absolutely going to be things that you can do for yourself, and there are going to be places and tasks where you need support.
Yeah.
Um, and that support looks different for everyone. And I think that's not like the vision we're often sold. Like, I feel like a lot of um, the marketing and like the narrative around things is we are often told that there's like one great framework or one great template, or like,
Yeah.
you just gotta like buy this next thing, and then you'll be successful, and like then you'll be able to like do all of these things and
Yeah.
whatever. um and it's just not
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there are like absolutely like so many different ways in which you can get support, whether that's through community or collaboration, or like, hiring contractors instead of like looking to have like one employee who can also do it
Yeah.
all. And like, yeah, like, I think being able to know yourself, know like where you need support, what things you do well, and what things you like need a little more help with, and like understanding um, how you can connect with people to find the people who are going to be there to support you in those things, um, is a continuous human challenge. But I genuinely believe that like there are people
Yeah.
out there who get it, and
Yeah.
a lot of us end up congregating in the same places, like Pretty Decent Internet
Yeah.
Cafe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, especially like finding the right people. And then even if if you
Mhm.
find someone and it doesn't work out, you can always cut that connection off. And I mean,
Mhm.
and like either way, it will teach you something. Like, it will teach you maybe what you like,
Right.
maybe that person then taught you really like what are you looking for in this person who you want to collaborate with, or something maybe about the way you communicated, or like, those are just like little things
Mhm.
that teach you it. And it's fascinating. The connection can be off, and if it's off, then it's off. And it can be on again, right? It doesn't have to be like, it can be on and
Yeah.
off too. Anyway, did that just make sense?
Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
No, absolutely. And I think too, like, there's a point in there that like you will never know until you try. You know, like sometimes it's going to like not end up working out, and that's okay. But like if you had just sat there and you had never joined and you had never talked to anyone and you had never done anything, then you would never know.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to try it out. It's you always have kind of not not sound cliche, but you always have like kind of the freedom to change it
Mhm.
up. To, as you said, we're making us up
Yeah.
constantly, and so that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's so important.
And I mean, I think again, like it comes back to that like being able to like know yourself and know like sometimes the things you want are going to change, and that's okay. Sometimes the things you need are going to change, and that's okay. That's something that I work with a lot of. I Yeah, like that's something that I work through with a lot of people is um this idea, like a lot of times people have this idea of systems that is like you have to do one thing over and over and over again, and that
Mm.
is the only way you can succeed, right? Like, um, and really and honestly, like, what I try to like help people understand is that like all of your systems and processes are essentially like coping mechanisms, right? Like you want to have like a really big toolbox full of lots of different options that you can pick from, because you're a human being. Like your energy is going to change. There are going to be days where you wake up and you feel like you want to lay in bed. Like I had a day like that yesterday. I didn't do anything,
Yeah.
and today I am up and I am talking on a podcast. you know um,
Yeah,
and
literally.
so like I think it's just really important for people to understand that like it doesn't always have to be one thing or one way. Like there are so many different options that you
Mhm.
can choose, and like things you can develop to support you as things change, because that is the only constant in life, is that things change. so um so instead of like sitting there and going like, oh, like um it's like so like strange that like my life has changed or the things that I want have changed, like um to like acknowledge that like those things are okay, and like maybe I just need new support now, or maybe I just need to like try something new, or like um that there are so many different options out there and so many different ways that you can like listen to yourself and give yourself support and accommodations and help that um I don't know. I just think that like that's the point of making it easy, right? Like sometimes um doing one thing is not easy for people. And so then you gotta have lots of different options. But it all comes down to like understanding yourself and like what is going to work for you, and like giving yourself the time to sit down and like understand yourself in that way. Um, requires you
Yeah.
trying things, and it requires you, to like go out there and take messy action, and um acknowledge that you can always come back to the drawing board and you can always try again, you know?
So, do you want to share
Mhm.
the world where they can find you? What do you
Yeah.
offer? Like, what do you offer? Like, that's sorry, life easier.
Yeah. So you can find me online at rainershine.site. I'm on Instagram, as we said at the beginning, Rainershine Systems Design. Um, I am on LinkedIn. I'm not gonna lie, I don't post very often there, but we're working on it. Um, and my TikTok is Hey Hey Monet, and I um actually right now like after this is over, I'm going to go post the link for a new free thing that I'm doing. I'm gonna do the systems recess,
Oh yeah.
a weekly-ish meetup, where you can get a chance to go through the systems thinking framework, and just get a chance to like really sit down and like put down um, all of the ideas and areas that you want to improve on and ways in which you have succeeded that maybe you can translate into um, things you can try for this next week to continue to improve. And really, it's just like a space to like come together and like brainstorm, brain dump, like work through this process so that with a bunch of other people who are also just trying their best. So really excited for that. And then yeah, like I always offer system support. The easiest way to work with me is just to schedule a system exploration and we'll sit down and talk about, what things you're doing well, what things are difficult for you, and ways that we can try new things to make it easier. So yeah.
I mean, the second recording